Hello friends, welcome to the video book summary of Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm Anita Verma, business director, consultant, author, and above all, an unapologetic lover of books. Over the years of guiding brands to shape their stories and strategies, one lesson has always held true: clarity creates confidence. Since its release in 1997, this book has transformed the way millions of people think about money, wealth, and freedom. Robert Kiyosaki, a businessman, investor, and educator, built the Rich Dad Company to challenge how we see work and money. His biggest insight? It's not how much you earn, but how you think about money that determines your future. So, let's walk through the 6 powerful lessons of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Lessons that can change your mindset, your money habits, and ultimately, your life. Here is lesson number 1. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. Let's begin with lesson 1. Think of a donkey chasing a carrot. The carrot dangles in front and the donkey keeps walking, hoping to one day reach it. The owner gets work done, but the donkey never really wins. That's how many people live, chasing money like the carrot. Rich Dad taught Robert something different. Don't work for money. Make money work for you. Most of us are trapped in the rat race. Fear of not having enough money pushes us to work harder, and desire for nice things pushes us to spend more. The cycle repeats endlessly. Robert and his friend Mike learned this early when they worked for free in Rich Dad's store. Out of frustration, they found a new idea, turning discarded comics into a small business. It was their first taste of making money work for them. And this leads us to the second lesson: understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Here is lesson number 2. Why the rich buy assets and everyone else buys liabilities. Rich Dad's golden rule was simple. Learn the difference between assets and liabilities, and spend your life buying assets. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Most people get this wrong. They buy liabilities thinking they're assets, like buying a house to live in instead of one to rent out. Rich Dad used simple charts to show Robert that poor people earn, spend, and have nothing left. The middle class earn, take on mortgages, car loans, and taxes, and end up broke too. The rich, they buy assets that keep generating income. With that foundation in mind, let's move to lesson 3, mind your own business. Here is lesson number 3, mind your own business. Ray Kroc, the man behind McDonald's, once asked MBA students what business he was in. They laughed and said, "The hamburger business." But Kroc replied, "No, I'm in the real estate business." This insight struck Robert deeply. Most people spend their lives working for others, for employers, governments, and banks. But the rich build businesses and invest in assets. Rich Dad's advice: keep your day job, but mind your own business. In other words, build your asset column alongside your profession. The rich buy luxuries last, while the middle class buy them first. And now, let's uncover lesson 4, how taxes and corporations really work. Here is lesson number 4, how taxes and corporations really work. To Poor Dad, Robin Hood was a hero. To Rich Dad, Robin Hood's idea was dangerous because it became the justification for taxes. At first, taxes targeted only the rich, but over time, the middle class carried the burden. The rich learned to protect themselves by using corporations. Employees earn, get taxed, then spend what's left. Corporations earn, spend, and only pay tax on what remains. That difference makes all the difference. Rich Dad taught Robert that money isn't power. Financial knowledge is power. Without it, you'll always lose to the system. This brings us to lesson 5. The rich invent money. Here is lesson number 5. The rich invent money opportunities aren't rare. They're everywhere. But only those with financial intelligence can see them. When Alexander Graham Bell offered to sell his telephone patent for $100,000, Western Union refused. He went on to build AT&T instead. The difference? Vision. Rich Dad taught Robert that the rich don't wait for opportunities. They create them. They take calculated risks, learn from failures, and use creativity to solve problems. Robert even designed the cash flow game to teach this. The game revealed what real life shows us. It's not the money in your hand that matters. It's knowing what to do with it. And now we arrive at the final lesson, lesson 6. Work to learn, not just to earn. Here is lesson number 6. Work to learn. Not just to earn. A journalist once told Robert she wanted to be a best-selling author. He suggested she take a sales course. She was insulted, but Robert knew the truth. Talent isn't enough. To succeed, you must learn the skills that make talent valuable. Rich Dad believed in broad learning. Don't just specialize, learn a little about a lot. Leadership, sales, communication, investing. These skills are what create wealth. That's why Robert left high-paying jobs to join the Marines for leadership experience and Xerox to conquer his fear of selling. Each step added skills that later built his businesses. The lesson is simple. Don't ask, how much will I make? Ask, what will I learn? When you stop working only for money and start working for growth, you step off the rat race treadmill and into financial freedom. The final summary. And with that, we close the timeless lessons of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book isn't just about money, it's about mindset. It's about breaking free from fear, understanding assets, creating opportunities, and building wealth that lasts. I'm Anita Verma, and it has been my privilege to bring these lessons to life for you. May they inspire you to think differently, act boldly, and build a future of clarity, confidence, and true financial freedom. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and always remember, don't just work for money, make money work for you.